Okay, so Raw kind of weird. You know, everybody's motivation seemed to be, I guess, coming from a holiday spirit kind of place. Trying to figure out how that, we just doing stuff. It just feels like we're just doing stuff. Um, Not really any matches really here of like, like it wasn't a raw or chaotic in that type of way. Raw. It was really more so of like, hey, I got these things to say. I'm gonna speak my mind. My feelings are validated. That kind of thing. Um. So yeah. So let's. I was like, let's do some of the wrestling stuff out the way. I was like, I did like the Gunther initiation with Finn and Judgment Day. I was like, now we've seen Dominic fight Gunther before, get his ass beat. That's one thing. But the fact that Finn had used all this stuff for Damian Priest in order to be like, yo, I need a title shot, this whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And Gunther's like, ha, no. Until pretty much that Finn decides to get involved so much with Gunther that we might get that. Or Gunther could go back to the route of being like, almost like what he did with Sami, except for being like annoying with it because he's real. Like with the Sami thing, it was just like no. With this, it could be actually more annoying. Yeah, I was like that could be an interesting route, especially coming off of how Gunther was with Damien and a more like taken aback type of approach. It'd be what we'll see basically how he approaches all his other stuff from now on. Like, is he gonna have confidence here that he didn't have with Damian Priest, which might have a story in that of being like, Damian, yes, I was scared of that street trash, but you're merely a tag team champion, something like that. So I was like, that can all work out. I'm sort of disappointed with the women's intercontinental just because I was like because the at least two of the ones that I already thought that might be in the mix was Zelina and Lyra Valkyria. Well, they're in the same match, so one of them has to go. But I was like, I'll do a separate video, I guess, of like maybe who's gonna win between that. But right now, I was like Dakota Kai beat Shayna Baszler and Kaden Carter, and not surprising that Kaden Carter took the pin. It wasn't going to be Shayna Dakota just because I was like they got beef between Damage Control and Pure Fusion. I was surprised. I did think that they would give it to Shayna. Just having her have something, maybe like have her go on like make her NXT run. But since she was Pure Fusion and it's sort of lost in there, where like Dakota Kai not really lost with Damage Control. She's been hurt, but even then she had a distinct difference among them as well too. And plus, she got this whole. I was like, plus a lot of people like her, and she never really got a chance to also win a title in NXT and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I think they're trying to ride the wave that is Dakota Kai since Damage Control is sort of just faces right now. That I was like, I think that I was like, it made sense. I was like, seeing who the other people. I would like to see who she'll go against next. That'll sort of waver on who it is. But I was like, I could see her being in the run. I don't think she's gonna win it just because I was like, not necessarily her injury history, but for this first time, you don't want to really put her in that position. Um, yeah, I was like, so we had Sami and Seth, which goes back to the very beginning of the show, which was uh CM Punk coming out here being like he got a business. He wants to try to take on, like his next challenge, where that's Rumble Elimination Chamber. Uh, and he got a favor in his back pocket in order to use it in order to the place he gets to, which is going to be kind of crazy or whatever that favor could be from Paul Heyman. Then Seth Rollins comes out and just basically like, I should have beat your ass a long time ago. I'm not dealing with this anymore. Basically, just saying that you basically helped Roman gain the power. And CM Punk is like, I told you I laid all this behind me in the past. I'm trying to move forward. You're the only one that's still stuck here. I was like, let me do my business and whatnot. Seth basically pushes him to be like, am I your business now? And I'm not saying we wasn't going to get to this point. I'm not saying that Seth Rollins isn't a little bit justified. But I was like, the part with CM Punk that I was like, and this is sort of just grasping of just trying to make this feud kind of thing right now. But it did turn into the part that I was like, I think is a lot more justifiable. Of, hey, this bloodline stuff, cool. It was like CM Punk, maybe you doing it for business reasons. All right, cool. He didn't say that, but Jay, he basically like bump you, Jay. You over here doing the same thing, and then Sami was like, hey, don't talk to Jay like that, and he's like, you're right. That's family. I understand that, and he's like, but you, what's your motivation? You think just because you some honorary oos guy or whatever? And he had a valid point. I seen people, and I thought about this too. It's like, Kevin Owens should have probably made this point, especially as Sami Zayn was on SmackDown a lot of them time or whatever. Like, it should be a thing that comes up, but it's not. So, but yeah, that whole justification really is why they have matches, is because he's like, oh, he's like your heart's in the right place all the time, but you just dumb with all of the stuff that you do though. Like the way he treated you, you still haven't got your apology. So I like the fact that he bring it up, like, even though they had the speed rush getting together, that stuff didn't just go away. Of like, wait, why are you doing this? You didn't get anything from it that you even asked for. You just joined the man, all because of what? So I do like that touch in it. When it has Seth Rollins and Sami fight, which got more heated due to the fact that somebody jumped Jay, and we're just like, whoo, 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 whoo. We'll play this or something else later on, but it is a question of who jumped Jay. But now we're doing this of like, who jumped Jade after who jumped Jade, and then maybe they be the same person. That'd be sort of cool. There is a person on Raw, the serial jumper. That's what we got. Now I was like, maybe serial jumper that'll work here. Can I put that as a be? The serial knocker outer? No. The serial sneak up? Oh, no, that's problematic. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But the fact that we're doing the same thing here, and Sammy's mad at Seth, and Seth is like trying to take it out on Seth, almost hitting him with a chair, which causes Seth to drop the chair, Seth to win. But in that process, it's like, I didn't do it. Why you think I did it? And it's really fair of like, why do you think Seth would have knocked out Jay? That wouldn't make any sense. But now it's like, who knocked out Jay? New bloodline? Bronson Reed? I mean, I was like, Seth, like, go ask your buddy CM Punk, but it's like, that's not CM Punk's MO either, of just randomly attacking somebody like that for no reason or whatever. But then, after all that, we did get a returning Drew McIntyre coming in and kicking Claymore Zayn in the face. And now I was like, and his motivation is going to be understandable. I'm going to understand him. He basically was just like chilling, whatever. CM Punk does his thing, whatever. But now, y'all done gave him a favor, gave him a route. I was like, y'all became into his vortex. It was over, it was done with. Because I was like, he might not even come after CM Punk, but his motivation for coming after you will be CM Punk. So I'm like, okay, I can get behind what that story is as well, too. I was like, so now everybody getting tied in. And this is sort of what I wanted, is that I was like, it always made me mad at Bloodline and Judgment Day doesn't infiltrate, so like it should infiltrate everything on each show all the time, just because I'm like, what you do here affects this here, affects this here, affects this here, and they're finally doing it. Where it was the Cody Rhodes, we got the KO. I was like, CM Punk now with the Drew McIntyre and stuff like that. So I'm doing that. Now I was like, won't talk too much bit on this because I was like, I might do a whole video of it. But the New Day thing was also perplexing. I knew that this was going to be some sort of breakup thing. I did. And just like how the stuff they said last week was like, ooh, that shit sucks. This was like, it was hurtful. It was. I was like, nothing normally gets me like that. But I was like, ooh. I was like, this just feel like you just watching like somebody's like marriage ending in their face. Like where you just kind of like, ooh, this is 8 years of just, I'm tired of your ass for 7. So anyway, I was like, they were sort of celebrating, which I would say, I think it kind of messed up that they got Big E's winning his championship, Kofi Mania winning his championship, and then they just got the New Day. And I was like, why didn't you just put Xavier Woods' King of the Ring right there? Because that was his time. That was his championship to shine. I know all the stuff was there, but you could have had him Anyway, so over here, sort of being happy about it. And then they were going to say something about, hey, the New Day, we're going to have to break this news to you. And it was just like, okay, cool. They're just going to break up, but it's nothing that's where it's got to be a fight or nothing like that. They're going to go their separate ways. Then Big E comes out here, and everybody want Big E, and Big E was out here. And what it looked like is that Big E would have just been like, hey, I was like, it sucks what might happen, but hey, we're going to celebrate these 10 years, blase, blase. Then it seemed like it had been fine. But once he started going in and being like, hey, you and y'all are doing this bickering, it's hurting my heart, then it just flipped on top of his head because it's like, where it's like, when I had my neck injury, y'all was there and stuff like that, and it's just like, oh, and he's like, I'm going to come back to be y'all manager and cheer you on. And it's like, bro, why you, and they just go like, bro, why you haven't been doing that? Why are you just been doing your other job and never coming through with us, never being seen with us? We got to hear it all the time. But now you want to, so you done seen after so much time or whatever that we've been having this, and you ain't want to show up. You left us. Like, you, and I was like, I do think they got valid points. I guess though, I was like, and I guess that, and I was like, that made sort of an alliance, basically, that Kofi and Woods, like, us together, and I guess they're gonna be Hill New Day or something like that, or maybe they'll change a different name, because New Day was all three of them. I guess it was just weird that I'm just like, so, that squashed whatever was between them, because I thought, like, after this, which I thought was fine, I was like, even though it was a lot to do to Big E, and I was like, but they used him at a plot point. I'm surprised that Kofi really went this route, but hey, I was like, that was fine. But I thought that at the end they were just gonna be like, well, we still gonna do our separate things. This is the end of the New Day, or something like that, or trash the set, or something like that. But it didn't, and I was like, it made more sense. I get a little bit as I talked it out, but I was like, it will be intriguing of what's next for them and what does this mean for Big E. I actually think that it was tricky. I was gonna say that at the end of this, I was like, it almost seemed like Big E might actually be more on his way to return, just kind of how harsh they went at him. But I was like, and maybe it's a change of pace of them doing an angle, because I was like, my head was basically like Dean Ambrose turning on Seth the night that Roman Reigns said he had his cancer back. That's what I was thinking of basically being like, oh, you got a broken neck? Well, pow, super kick. But didn't happen. So, anyway, that was pretty much Raw. I was like, we had EO and Sakari saying Damage Control facing Liv and Raquel, but that just always, it just ends with Rhea coming through and stuff like that. So yeah, and I was like, Butch, Pete, that, and I was like, like I said, it wasn't really nothing. Maybe something blanking from my mind right now as well too. Karrion Kross and his promo. Like I said, it was really just more like moving along more so than anything. But anyway, that was the Raw review, recap, whatever you want to say. What do you think of where these stories are gonna go? That's really what's the most interesting, or who's gonna win the Intercontinental thing or whatever. Like I said, I might have some more stuff out there for that. But anyway, all day, every day, no problem. Hey, we got this. But until then, peace. I'm out.